Over 93 million voters, 18 candidates, and a country shaken by security and economic shocks. This is a scenario which surrounds the upcoming presidential elections in Nigeria. Elections in this country constitute a major stake for not only Nigeria, but the African continent. Usually, it's a two-horse race, but this time around, there appear to be three genuine contenders, plus some dark horses who could spring up a surprise at any moment. With record unemployment, chronic insecurity, and a limping economy, now the plight of the masses, voters just have one thing in mind, that things must get better. But how crucial will this election be, and who will succeed Muhammadu Buhari, who of course has come to the end of his 2 mandates? The answer to this big question lies on the 25th of February 2023, when Nigerians will go to the polls to answer president and vote their next president. Stay with us. Welcome back. We kickstart this special program with the magic number surrounding the February 25 presidential elections in Nigeria. The first, of course, is 18, and 18 is the number of candidates vying in for the country's highest top seat. Our next number is 93.4 million people. These are the registered voters in a population of over 213 million. Nearly half of the registered voters are under 34-year-old, making, of course, the most active part of the population. Bookmakers say that this constitutes huge stakes for the outcome of the poll. 176,974. These are the polling stations across the country, with more than 200 polling stations at inappropriate locations such as private residences, places of worship, and royal palaces. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has removed them. 21 days. This is a number which comes from the fact that if no one wins an absolute majority, or if the top candidate gets less than 25% of the votes in 24 out of the 36 states, there will be a presidential runoff between the two top candidates within 3 weeks. And our last number, the magic number in this presidential election, is 21.82%, which of course is the country's year-on-year inflation for January, driven by spikes in the prices of food items like bread, potatoes, and yam. This is accompanied by a cash crunch and chronic fuel scarcity in the country. All right, now let's look at the top figures going in for the presidential elections in Nigeria. Usually, it has always been a two-horse race between candidates, but this time there are three main contenders, and some bookmakers even say they are dark horses that could spring a surprise. But we shall be staying with the three top contenders for the presidential seat. The first, of course, is Bola Tinubu from the incumbent All Progressive Congress. The man, of course, who is aged 70, is regarded as the godfather of Lagos politics. Bola Tinubu is a political servant who has over 2 messy decades been the kingmaker at both local and national levels. With the party's machinery now in his hands, the chairman of the APC looks set to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. Already, he has been campaigning in many parts of the country, with his last stop being Lagos, of course, which is his home. But we shall be taking you now to Borno State, where he pulled off a large crowd in that particular state. Let's watch.
Hard work, honesty, and accountability. We will do it. We will revive the economy. We will develop Nigeria. 7 deprivation, you have suffered homelessness. Some people get out of this. We will take care of all of you. Your children will inherit and benefit from a better future. Thank you very much.
Our next candidate we shall be profiling is Atiku Abubakar, 76-year-old. He has contested in 5 previous elections and has lost all of them, but he's not tired. He looks very determined to win this particular election against the 17 other opponents. Atiku Abubakar has lost every time but has grown a power base that cut across Nigeria's traditional geographical, religious and ethnic divide. He has not yet presented what looks like a concrete program to tackle the security problem, but in the economic sector, he says that he has the answers. Just like the other candidates, he's been crisscrossing the country to campaign for votes. And of course, we shall be taking you to this crucial campaign which he held somewhere in Borno State, in Maiduguri, rather, still in Borno State, in northeastern Nigeria. Let's listen to how this campaign unfolded. Let's get the highlights.
His Excellency Atiku Abubakar ya ba su aiki yau mutum shida da fandui Dr. Milema Fandi.
The governor of Sokoto State, the chairman of the PDP.
He is elected, we shall restore peace and order in Borno State, not only in Borno State, throughout the country. And we should reactivate the exploration of oil and gas in the Chad Basin, which we promise we are going to do that by the grace of God. The local governments are supplying power or electricity, which we promise we will do so. We reactivate Chad Basin Development Authority so that our farmers can go back to farm, so that we can produce food for our own people, and so that we can also reduce unemployment. And we promise him on that.
Now, on to the man, of course, who is giving some sugar and spice in this particular election. He is no other than Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State in Nigeria, 61 years old. Peter Obi is a man who believes that he has the keys to unlock Nigeria's problems and usher the country into an era of prosperity. He is one of the only governors in Nigerian history to have left the state coffers in better shape than he found it. He has cultivated a reputation of humility and frugality, unlike other politicians, but bookmakers say that he may struggle to find support outside southeastern Nigeria. But with so many youths behind him, and looking at the fact that more than 80% of the 93 million voters are under 34-year-old, Peter Obi may just bring up the surprise in this election. Now, let's focus on his movement, which of course is the obedient movement. This is a movement that has grown in leaps and bounds in Nigeria and across the board. Let's have this particular video showcasing how the obedients are carrying out their campaigns in Lagos.
We don't need money. Obi is what we need. Obi, give me our money.
I'm out today to vote for a new Nigeria, for a positive change.
In this election, and it is Mama, Papa, Pikin, right to say that we do not belong to this one entity, Nigeria, but we have refused to die.
Use this time so that it will be straight.
So for us, everyone here.
Let this day be marked by every Nigerian out there that today the people of Nigeria have spoken and are speaking loudly all across the Federation. And we are saying that we're taking our country back. Power belongs to the people, and the people have spoken. And they are saying power must return to its rightful owners. And that is the people. That is why I'm here today to support Peter Obi with everything of mine. Because he's the only one that stands out. He's the only one who has been speaking to the people. He's the only one with the 5 C's: competence, courage, character, capacity, and compassion. None of the other candidates can ever measure up to Obi in whatever standard.
Okay, I'm supporting Mr. Peter Obi because I realize that it is people in my age bracket that have caused all the calamities that have happened in this country. So this is like a penance, and it's like making restitution for the people of my age bracket. So I support Peter Obi to be sure that my children or my grandchildren will get to enjoy those things that I enjoyed in Nigeria, which they are not enjoying now.
On the sidelines of that campaign, the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi unveiled some of the plans he has for Nigeria. Let's watch.
On the 25th, look for LP, vote there, stay there until they can't vote. You have all it takes. Once we win the election, that is the beginning of a new. It's the beginning of a new now. Watch what. When we win, we will not tell you. You bring out your note and you see what development is. It will be. We are not going to change everything overnight, but be assured, you will see it physically. You will measure it. You will see the problem. Everybody will experience it, because I assure you, what we will do here, nobody will believe it. Hold us responsible. Hold us responsible. We will apologize to all those who are victims of police brutality, all those who have suffered the hands of government. We will apologize to them. We will make sure that it never happens again. Nigeria.
Amongst the 3 contenders, who has what it takes to get past the finish line is a difficult thing to say. Well, bookmakers also say that this election in 2023 is the most unpredictable in the country's history. And for one thing, that many Nigerians are getting involved in the process, and the 3 candidates, though with very good personalities, of course, have a good work ahead of them to convince the electorate for the elections. We caught up with Professor Kabiru Saidu Sufi, who is a lecturer at the Kano College of Arts and Science, who now previews the 3 candidates and gives his predictions.
So this time around we have 4 strong candidates and coincidentally 2 from the north and 2 from the southern part of the country, giving us maybe a kind of a split among the 2 of them. So it makes it a kind of more involving election than the past, and it makes it more interesting and to look at the ball game. So I believe that this time around it is not as easy to predict as it was before, especially with current happenings in the country. In the last 3 weeks we have seen a lot of alignments and realignments. We have seen people, and blocs and power blocks and groups becoming more relevant than they were in the last 1 month or 2 months. So it's difficult for us to make an easy prediction as to what is going to be the likely outcome of the result. And with elections in Nigeria is that it's not over until it is over. In the next 14-15 days anything can happen to give any of the popular candidates an edge over the others. We have seen what happened in the last 2-3 weeks, of course, with the Naira resignation, and of course with the fuel crisis and what have you, changing of course the narratives and the way people are predicting elections. Usually the traditional bandwagon effect, but this time around that traditional bandwagon effect is not existing anymore. We are seeing a more enlightened electorate, so to speak. Though there is apathy, political apathy, people are saying that they will not vote, largely because of the fact that they have been disappointed in the past. What they were expecting was not what they were getting, or some of them believe that politics is a game of the elite that doesn't really represent their own interest. So that is maybe contributing to political apathy. And then for those who are enlightened, we are seeing a new trend of people mixing political parties and mixing ideologies, going for this candidate at this level and going for another candidate at the other level. So possibly we are going to have interesting results that is going to have a mixture of people occupying different positions from different political parties.
The presidential elections in Nigeria is holding within a thorny economic context marked by a 21% inflation rate, of course, which has made life unbearable for the population. If you add this to fuel scarcity and the Naira scarcity, then you will know that Nigerians need a savior to unlock these challenges. It is for this reason that many Nigerians, of course, want to see a change in the economic domain, with most of them involved in business.
Take control of my going out today. Teach me what to do. In Jesus' name, I have prayed. Amen. Amen. In Jesus' name. Thank you for what you did for us yesterday and what we continue to be doing for us. Father, we jobs were not coming out from printing. I decided to go into forex trading, cryptocurrency trading, which government came with their policy and dismantled and spoiled that business for me. Now, the government policy spoiled that business, and this made me to want to kill myself because I have invested all my fortune in the cryptocurrency business. Down. Down. From now, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So those of you that have not...
Hope you slept well. Yes, ma'am. Don't forget don't forget all our activities. Eh? You understand? Don't forget all...
School business. I've not been able to make ends meet because of the money in circulation. People are not getting enough money. Parents are not paying school fees as at when due because of the fact that the economy is bad. In hours that you are supposed to make money, you will be using it to queue at the petrol station. And you even buy the petrol at exorbitant price. I bought per liter 330 yesterday night so that I can use to work today. So all in all, the economy have not been fair on all the business I'm doing. Let's vote for people that can do this Nigeria and make Nigeria well again. Nigeria is very sick as at we are now. So this election, we should not miss it at all. We should try as much as we can to vote the right person, credible person, into the helms of affairs.
Holding peaceful elections has constituted a major challenge for Nigeria. It is for this reason that all the 18 aspirants came together to sign the Second National Peace Accord. In this gentleman agreement, the political aspirants have all pledged to respect the verdict of the upcoming presidential elections and also call their supporters to order over violence. But how possible is this? Our reporter Nadine Mebune now takes us to the second signing ceremony, which of course witnessed the presence of many leaders, amongst them the head of the National Peace Accord, the former president of Nigeria, Salami Abubakar. We also had many election observer missions like the AU and the NDI of the United States, not leaving out traditional, political, religious, as well as major opinion leaders, including past presidents and the incumbent Muhammadu Buhari. Let's watch the report of Nadine on the National Peace Accord.
On Wednesday, February 22, 2023, the 18 candidates of the 2023 Nigerian presidential elections gathered in Abuja for the second signing of the National Peace Accord. The aim of the agreement is to respect the verdict of the election and also to stay away from violent acts before, during and after the elections. The National Peace Accord was led by former Nigerian president and chairman of the National Peace Accord, Salami Abubakar. He called on the candidates to respect the terms of the agreement so that Nigerians could have a free, fair and transparent elections. Also present at the event were observer missions, particularly that of the African Union and the National Democratic Institute of the UN, former presidents, religious and traditional leaders, and opinion leaders. The chairman of Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, assured the candidates that the election is confirmed to hold on February 25.
The signing of the Peace Accord today comes at a critical moment in the electoral calendar. Campaign for presidential and National Assembly elections ends at midnight tomorrow, Thursday, 23rd February 2023. Election will hold on Saturday this week. INEC is ready.
He equally emphasized that INEC is not in support of any particular candidate in the election, as the Commission's allegiance is to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and its loyalty is to Nigerians.
The Commission is committed to free, fair, and credible elections in compliance with the electoral legal framework and the letter and spirit of the Peace Accord. All political parties and candidates are hereby reassured of the Commission's neutrality. INEC is not a political party. We have no candidate in the election. Our allegiance is to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our loyalty is to Nigerians.
Out of the 18 candidates for the Nigerian presidential election, only 3 are considered top contenders. Whoever Nigerians choose to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari will have to resolve a litany of crises that have worsened. Whoever Nigerians choose to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari will have to resolve a litany of crises that have worsened under the retired Army General's administration.
For this election to be free, fair, transparent, and credible, bookmakers say that one body has a huge task in its hands. That, of course, is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. INEC, in the past few months, has been multiplying measures despite the security threats to set up a battery of steps geared towards free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. Voting materials have been moved from the INEC headquarters to other parts of the country, and security forces are on high alert to stop any attack on the electoral process. We shall take you through this little clip to see how INEC is preparing for the elections with the dispatch of election materials. Let's watch.
When I came out, I said on the camera,
but this is one of the critical moments of INEC to collect these sensitive materials, ballot papers, result sheets from here, from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Lagos office here, to move them to the 20 local government areas of the state. So that is the symbolic importance of what we have to do, because it shows it's more or less kick-starting the commencement of the electoral process of Saturday. Movement of this material, everything has moved to local government level. So until we get the final result from Abuja on the presidential election and the senatorial at the state level on Saturday, then the process has started.
The voting system in this election is of course the electronic voting system. The Independent National Electoral Commission effected a mock exercise to test the credibility of the system. Nigerians, however, remain divided over the outcome of the system, but the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission is upbeat that the electronic system can guarantee what Nigerians wish for. We now take you to this clip where he was speaking to Chatham House about how INEC is ready for this particular election. He spelled more importance on the electronic system. Let's watch.
We have the machines for the 2023 general elections, but we didn't want to take chances. Each and every machine has been tested and confirmed that the machine is functional. So actually for the last 2 weeks or so, our officials were in all the states of the Federation testing those machines. And the functionality of the machines is simply very encouraging. So we'll not take chances. The second thing we are going to do, and pretty soon, is to conduct mock accreditation exercise nationwide ahead of the election. We won't wait until the main election comes. We'll test the integrity of these machines with real live voters in selected polling units across the country. We did so in Ikitan Oshun. It was fantastic. We are going to do so nationwide. And increasingly, you know, our people are becoming even more excited about the deployment of this technology. So we are really happy. And in terms of the numbers of the BVAS machines, we always make provision for additional numbers of machines in case of malfunction or glitches. And there is always a backup. We have what we call the RA technical support that will fix the machines in the unlikely event of any glitches. And where it needs to be fixed is fixed, but where it fails to function completely in a polling unit, and from previous experience there are isolated polling units, the law has a remedy that the Commission should immobilize and conduct the election in the affected polling units within 24 hours.
The elections in Nigeria has not only been the subject matter of Nigerians national living within the country, but compatriots out of the country also focused on what is happening in their homeland. Here in Cameroon, particularly in the economic capital, Douala, where about 2 million Nigerians are doing businesses and other activities. They are also focused on what is happening back home, particularly with the events which surround the elections. Our reporter Nadine Mebune and Emmanuel Kejinsi took their microphones to Kang Yabasi, a very popular neighborhood here in Douala where Nigerians have made it a home for themselves. And this is what they had to say about the upcoming elections.
Yeah, the new changes we need in Nigeria. One, security. We don't have enough security. We don't have security in Nigeria. Everybody is being afraid because there are a lot of things that are happening in Nigeria. Pertaining transportation and other good health, I know that P2B will do that. We believe in him. And the whole Nigerians, we are out, the whole youth are out to vote for P2B at this point of hour. And I believe that P2B will rule Nigeria. He is the only person that will rule Nigeria. APC, that they have been disappointing us. PDP has been disappointing us. But now we need P2B to come and show his competence in Nigeria.
I anticipate our new elected president to work towards security, to restore security in our nation. That's the first priority. The first priority should be the security. There's much insecurity in Nigeria. And secondly, to stabilize our economy, because the inflation is so high, and let the new president look towards how to ameliorate the new monetary policy. It is really affecting the nation so much. And the health sector and the education, there are so much at stake.
Coming to the aspect of Nigeria, Nigeria needs a good security in Nigeria. When it comes to Nigeria, education is no more valuable. So we need change in Nigeria because some certain things are happening in Nigeria. So we need a good education because some youth are suffering in Nigeria. And we need a civilized world. Where we are in Nigeria now, many people are suffering from different kinds of problems or here and there because of bad government.
Those were Nigerians at the YABADOO neighborhood here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, talking about what they expect from their new president as the elections are around the corner. Well, to break it down better, here in the studio with a Nigerian, one who has made Cameroon his home, but is also very focused on events back in the home country. He is a journalist, he is a publisher, he is a businessman, he is a man of many colors, of course. He is no other person than Ismail Adebola. Ismail Adebola is a publisher of Niger Diaspora magazine, a publication, of course, which showcases how Nigerians here in Cameroon and across the African continent are making their home country proud. It also seeks to strengthen relations between Cameroon and Nigeria. Ismail Adebola, thank you very much for talking to us on this special broadcast.
Thank you for extending such invitation to me this afternoon. Thank you very much.
All right, you heard from your compatriots here in Douala about the aspirations, what they want the new president to tackle. What does it inspire you?
Yeah, good afternoon, fellow viewers back home. You know, I heard what they said, and everybody has some personal view of looking things. So they have said it, so some mention that they want Peter Obi to emerge. Some say that education in Nigeria is not as it's best, yeah. So some say that the monetary policy, they have to, you know, a lot of things. So they have a right to their personal opinion. But I believe that we shall see it by Sunday or Monday. So what we want the best for Nigeria, and I know Nigerians here in Cameroon are really, really praying for the peaceful election, so that at the end of the election, the best will emerge.
Now, according to the Electoral Act, Nigerians of the diaspora cannot vote. Do you feel somewhat disappointed that the voices of Nigerians out of the country cannot count at a very decisive moment like this?
It is very unfortunate that Nigeria has not
made that policy.
Because you know, diaspora voting is a global practice. Yeah. If Cameroon could allow its citizens and diaspora to vote, why Nigeria, giant of Africa? But I believe the INEC and the National Assembly are doing something, because if you look at Nigerian diaspora, we have a population. Just last December, the remittances of Nigerian diaspora is huge.
Yes.
$20-something billion. So it's not a small amount. So if you can contribute to the growth of economy back in Nigeria, why can't you be part of the decision making, so that we can, you know, confidently in our home, host country, decide who will be our president. And I believe that very soon the National Assembly will do some amendment in the Constitution, because they have to give a room in the Nigerian Constitution. And also, as a population of Nigerian diaspora, I've talked to many Nigerians, not here in Cameroon. Yeah. They are really willing to see that diaspora voting take place in Nigeria. And we continue letting our voice back home, so that the next election we can be fortunate to vote in diaspora. Though we Nigerians, some of us, you know, Nigeria and Cameroon are almost the same area. Yeah. So, like me, I'll be going this evening to go and vote. I have my
your permanent voters
card, and a lot. Also having there, and they are already home back in Nigeria, because I've spoken with them just today that okay, I'm already in my village. So even because of the logistics, they could not go back to their hometown. They have to look for nearer border to Cameroon, yes, which is some like Oron. A lot of Nigerians are there to vote because it's their civic right to vote the candidate of their choice. I believe the next election, whoever emerges by Saturday, we consider Nigeria, because we have a lot of reason to be part of the decision making back home in Nigeria.
Now, how different is this election since Nigeria embraced democracy in 1999? We have seen elections 1999, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019, and now we have 2023. How different is this particular election?
Thank you for this question. Many people have been asking me this question, and my response to it is that before, the youths were not ready to vote. And the youth believe that it's the same. No matter how we vote, the powers that be,
things will still remain the same.
So they didn't take it serious. Look, I'm after my businesses. But this time around, things have changed. Especially when Peter will be a very young and vibrant candidate, you know.
With the obedient movement.
So you see the youth are coming up. Like, look, we must be part of this dispensation, and that is why you see all over the world we have most votes. And it's very interesting because Nigerians are tired of the same promises. Of the same promises. So it's not going to be easy now. I believe the next election is going to be very tougher than this one. Yeah. So we thank God that the youth now see that, look, you cannot be condemning government without be part of the system. So if you don't vote for me, why will you blame me? So if you vote for me, and if you are not doing what we are expecting from you, we have the power to vote you out. Yeah. So I think we are coming up.
All right. Now, we just mentioned moments back about the fact that the diaspora is not able to vote. Looking at the powerful influence of the Nigerian diaspora, even here in Cameroon, we feel that presence of the Nigerian diaspora. Do you think that even those who do not have their PVC can influence this election positively?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. You cannot expect me to send money to Nigeria, to my family, to my friends, to my collaborators, to my colleagues. I can convince them, look, please, this is my candidate, vote for me. It's an influence.
That can start right even from the families.
Right, a lot of Nigerians,
yeah.
Look, and you must respect it, because if everything goes well, I can even remember you well. But if you don't, you know, so apart from that, you know, Nigerians in diaspora, we are very enterprising. You know, election in Nigeria is very expensive. You have to get support, logistics support, financial support, intellectual support, and we have that in diaspora. Yeah. So it has a lot of advantages for any candidate to collaborate with Nigerian diaspora.
That's why most of the key candidates even went to the diaspora.
You must. Let me tell you, by the time Nigeria allowed diaspora to vote, Cameroon will be maker to all politicians, because 5 million Nigerians in Cameroon is more than states. It's more than Bayelsa states, more than the Kogi states, it's more than a lot of states. So if you have, and Nigerian diaspora, we eagerly vote because we must. So somebody looking for greener pasture away, if Nigeria is good, will he be going to Europe or Africa country? So
not at all.
So we are very, very important in Nigeria. So our government knows that one. That's why they created Nigerian Diaspora Commission under Ministry of Foreign Affairs to look at the affair of Nigerians, and they are doing fine. So we believe that very soon we vote in the diaspora, and we'll be part of the decision making in Nigeria.
All right. Now, this election will hold at a time when the country is facing lots of difficulties. You are very close to business circles in Nigeria, but here in Cameroon, how are your compatriots here in Cameroon feeling that cash crisis? Going to get goods, coming back with the recent cash problems that they are facing?
It must affect them, because most of our people do business back home in Nigeria. Most of the products you see in Kayabasi, Mbopi, most of comes from Nigeria. And if you want to get market or you want to get your product, you must pay. Sometimes you do transfer, it won't go. And people are not confident of that. And you must get cash to buy product. I just came back from Nigeria 2 weeks. You get me? For you to get naira, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Even though to do transfer. So if I do transfer to you, so what about these little traders that when they gather the money, they go back to the market and get their produce. So it's not easy. It's been a terrible situation for Nigerians here in diaspora, especially Cameroon here. And if Nigeria get it well, the other African countries will get it well. So it's really affected them. So we believe that after the election, everything will come back to normalcy, because we believe that it's not going to be like that forever. It's just temporary situation which the government will try to see what they can do and solve the problem for the benefit of Nigerians.
All right, now we heard from your compatriots here in Cameroon. I also want to give you the floor. What will you expect as far as change is concerned after this election in your country?
I want the best for Nigeria. Though, as a publisher, I don't need to play partisan politics.
Sure.
Because
but you're also a citizen. Yeah.
Yes, but that's why I say I want the best for Nigeria. I'm only Ismail and only vote. So I've listened to a lot of people. We did a lot of first pop that, okay, what are you expecting? What kind of president are you looking for that is compatible for Nigeria at this particular time? Because a lot of things are happening back home in Nigeria, which is not good for us in diaspora. So even though we are in diaspora, we have family back home, we have our friends, they are suffering. So, but I believe we want the best for Nigeria. And may Almighty God help us to get it right at this particular time. Whosoever emerges the winner should think that, look, I'm not here for my personal interest. I'm here for the 200 million Nigerians so that their life can be better. And I believe that Nigeria is now, coming up to participate in the electoral processes in Nigeria. If you give it 4 years and did not do what we expect of you, we have that power to vote you out. Thank God that our president has signed this new electoral law that can checkmate the corruption going on here, the system, the irregularities in the system. So I think the changes here that look at this, our vote can be counted, we reduce drastically. So I just want to urge Nigeria that, look, it's not a do or die affair. Vote for your candidate. Stay there. Let your vote be counted without no problem, so that we will not have any post-election that will cause chaos or protest. So I just urge Nigerians, go there, vote for a candidate. If it's A win, accept it. If B win, accept it. But let us pray to the Almighty God that God should touch. You can say that, okay, this is the best. But when it emerges, it can change.
Yeah.
But just pray to God, please touch their minds to do the will of the people. And I believe that God will answer our prayer. Because Nigeria is a very, very important country in the world, not only Africa. So if Nigeria gets it right, I believe it will affect the rest of Africa positively. But if you get it wrong, believe me, it's not going to be easy for us.
It's going to affect, of course.
So that's it.
All right, this last question before we go. You have your PVC.
Yeah.
And the past few months, INEC has been making lots of moves in a bid to ensure that the system is secure. Do you have trust in the electoral system?
Why not? I have a trust. I trust them. Because if you don't trust them, what will we do? We just keep on complaining. It happens in just a recent election in the Osun State.
Osun State, yes.
That the Ikube governor was voted out. Though after the tribunal said that they're going to go to appeal court before appeal court, Supreme Court. I still believe in Nigeria. We are not so bad like that. We are not so bad like that. we should not condemn Nigeria totally.
Yeah.
Rather, we should keep on, talking to our leaders that, look, they are trying, but they should do more efforts. So I still believe in Nigeria, the electoral system, and I believe that this time around, we get it right. We get it right. I have belief in my country because it's my country. Though I stayed in Cameroon for almost 20 years.
Of course, home is home.
But home is home.
Sure.
And apart from that, if Nigeria is good, Cameroon also is good.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Cameroon will surely affect Nigeria. So I always have that confidence in my country. So I believe come Saturday, Nigerians will respect the rule of law. We go there peacefully and vote peacefully, and the INEC will do the needful by proclaiming the right person, not give the winner while they be us the winner. So I believe it's going to be okay. It's not easy because since almost 1 week now, Nigeria is boiling. People are crying, no money, fuel scarcity, But I love my compatriots. No matter how the gra, everything will still be normal. That's why I love Nigeria. We are used to that. We are used to that. But they should not push us to the wall. The government should not push us to the wall, because if they do that, but our coming back is not. That's why you see the youth now. You see the youth from across the sector, the Nollywood, the musicians, businesses, the business people, everybody. Before they said no, election is for some particular set of people, but now everybody wants to see what is happening. So I believe that God will help us to get it right, and I pray that President Buhari will leave a good legacy behind, because if it's the only thing that we achieve by giving us peaceful elections, transparent election, I believe me, nobody will forget President Muhammad Buhari.
And he says that it's one of the legacies that he really wants to leave behind.
Yes, and we hope so, that some people will not confuse him. I trust him. He's a man of his word. He will try to give Nigeria the best. And I believe Nigeria also will collaborate with him to do that. It's just less than 48 hours. So everything will unfold. And I just want to wish Nigeria all the best. Wish Nigeria the best. Whosoever emerges, let's all accept it. And I thank God, just 2 days ago, a peace accord signing was, signed by all the candidates. That look, we must accept the results. And I believe they are all gentlemen. They are all grown-up people. So nobody wants Nigeria to collapse during this time. So they should take it. They should not take it as a do or die affair. It should be just they should have the spirit of sportsmanship. In the sport, especially football, one must lose, one must win. Yes. So at the end of the day, they embrace themselves and say, look, let's move together. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ismail Adebola, for this short interview.
I'm always welcome. Anytime you need our presence here,
of course,
we always be available, except we are not in town. I want to use the opportunity to thank your TV. Anytime I come here, I always feel impressed. I want to feel like you guys are doing well, and I believe that after the election, a lot of things should be done so that we can have that collaborative spirit with Nigeria. Okay. So I just want to urge my Nigerians, not only Nigerians, even Cameroonians, to join us to pray for the peaceful election on Saturday, so that nothing will happen. If anything wants to happen, it should be very something that is good, that everybody will be happy. Because anything happen in Nigeria must affect Cameroon. So Cameroonians, please join us to pray for Nigeria, so that we can get it right and elect a very good leader that will love his people.
Thank you very much, Ismail, and of course, wish you a very safe journey and a happy experience.
Thank you very much.
In this election.
Thank you very much.
And that was Ismail Adebola, publisher of Niger Diaspora magazine, giving his insights about the elections. All right, at this juncture, we shall be hooking up with our partners from the VOA, where senior journalist at the Voice of America, Peter Clottey, is standing by. He will be breaking down what has been happening within the last few hours in the build-up to the election.
Well, thank you very much for having me this day on your show. It has been quite interesting here in Nigeria. People are getting ready for the elections. Officially, campaigning will end at 11:59 p.m. That is a minute to midnight on Friday. And that is when official campaign for all the political parties are supposed to end. And then it will give prospective voters the chance to reflect on all the information that they've been passed on, associated with these political parties, trying to win the hearts and minds of these voters in order to come up tops. Remember, this Saturday, it's not only the presidential election, but there's a senatorial election and House of Representative election. So Nigerians go to the polls this weekend to choose a new president to replace outgoing president, incumbent outgoing president Muhammadu Buhari, and then they will choose a new Senate and a new House of Representatives. So it remains to be seen how the elections will go this Saturday.
All right, one peculiarity about the election is that there are no women. How is this perceived in the country?
Well, there's one female presidential candidate. With the senatorial and House of Representatives, yes, there are women in there. They are not that many, as gender activists will say. However, there are some women there. A lot of Veuillez held a town hall meeting of women here in Abuja, and the resounding outcome was that the political parties need to create space for women to participate fully. It happens, as critics say, that it's only men with deep pockets that usually vie for these positions, and that, in order to ensure parity, the political parties need to create the space and the enabling environment for women to participate fully in order for their potential to be realized and for their contributions to be made to the Nigerian Republic as a whole.
All right, the candidates have signed a peace accord to ensure a peaceful conduct of the election. How significant is this for Nigeria's democracy?
It is significant, especially for the political parties and for both local and international observers. However, critics of the peace accord say that peace accords get signed. However, there are some hoodlums who do not want the elections to proceed, and they will try to cause problem. I spoke with the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, who is of the view that the police are ready to tackle those miscreants and so-called hoodlums who try to undermine the election through violence and through all other means or foul means to try to win the election here and there. So they said they have a plan to deal with such things. However, critics say that supporters do not necessarily take lead from these leaders who signed the peace accord. So people think it's just a mere public relations exercise to satisfy themselves and not necessarily the grassroots of people who usually try to cause problems.
This election has witnessed the presence of many observers. We have the African Union, powered by former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. We also have the National Democratic Institute of the United States, led by former Malawian President Joyce Banda. How crucial is this to the conduct of the election?
Well, these poll observers were invited by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. A few days ago, the INEC held briefings with these international poll observers as well as local poll observers to tell them about its preparedness to the elections, the mandate that they have, and then the laws governing election monitoring. So yes, INEC invited them. I spoke with a European Union poll observer lead who says they are compiling evidence of all the political activities leading up to the election. And after the election, they will present a preliminary assessment of the election, and then a few months down the line they will present their final report on the Nigeria elections with, you know, their recommendations and how they think things can improve. So these are ways that the INEC want people to assess them, and then after the assessment, recommendations are made, so they take them, look at them and see how best to implement them to improve the election administration and organization here in Nigeria.
Witnessed violence in some parts of the country leading up to the election. The recent killing of Onyumbo Chukwu has once more brought to light how safe these elections can be. Are these fears common among the population?
Well, that's the reason why the police say they have stepped up efforts to try to ensure that people go to the polls peacefully and that they are not disturbed or intimidated or harassed. It was unfortunate that police, civil rights and civil human rights defenders have sharply condemned the killing of the senator. Remember, the APC, the ruling party, was attacked during the murder of the LP senatorial candidate. The PDP candidate was also attacked. So it appears that these are what the police are referring to as hoodlums who do not want the elections to proceed. They said they are trying to undermine the election administration in that particular area to create problems, and they are ready for the task. At least that is what the police are telling me.
How crucial are these elections for relations between the United States and Nigeria?
Well, officials of Nigeria have always maintained that Nigeria enjoys, warm diplomatic relations between Abuja and Washington. And a lot of these candidates will tell you that they always seek to improve relations between the two countries who have been who have had relations since Nigeria officially gained its independence. So let's see what the winner comes up with, especially when it's a milestone election, to replace outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari.
We'll be with you some other time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that was the VOA's Peter Clottey joining us live from the Federal Republic of Nigeria with insights on the upcoming presidential elections in the country. And it's on that note that we call it quit on this special broadcast dedicated to the 2023 presidential elections in Nigeria. We thank you very much for watching. Keep watching Dash News, the Voice of Africa. More is yet to come. Stay with us.